Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum bum bum
A
bum
little bit
bum
inside.
bum bum
No, don't stop.
bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum. Hello, my friends. Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Trying to get into the frame. I'm not at home. Perry and I are traveling. We're in Philadelphia, and we had a wonderful day with our friends at Boron. And so here we are in a hotel room. So we're kind of making do. So if you're seeing me kind of off screen a little bit, and I can't read your comments as well because I'm on a different computer. We don't have our usual. So welcome, my friends. Monday Night Live. Here we are. Every Monday, I'm Jo at Calabrese, and I do one thing and one thing only, and that is to teach you homeopathy, to tell you what I've got that would be useful for you and yours, to keep you focused on being relevant for your family and friends, keep you focused on doing your duty to take care of your family and those around you. So hello, my friends. Hello from I can see some of the screen. I can see Texas. Hello from Tyler, Texas, but I can't see the names. It's so tiny. Please excuse me. By next week, I'll be able to see all of you much more clearly. So for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Jo at Calabrese, and this is the place to learn homeopathy, practical homeopathy, which gives you a very specific medicine for a very specific condition, and we might pull it apart and use symptoms to differentiate, but it's not about the whole person. It's about conditions. Condition specific, here's the medicine. And so for those of you who do know me, welcome, friends. Please like and share. It does make a big difference. It helps us move things along. Tonight I'm going to be talking to you. I'm talking to our California neighbors who are suffering through these fires. And for those of you who are not in California, these are a lot of writer-downers. This is good information. Whether it's from a fire, such as what's occurring there, or if you're around a bonfire, or you're around a chemical fire. Fires are part of life on Earth. And so we do need to know these medicines. I'm going to go through them rather quickly. You're going to have to write them down. If you've missed them, then go right back and watch this. It'll be posted within usually about an hour or so. If not, at least tomorrow you'll see it. And so you'll be able to catch it again. So I'm going to go through them rather quickly. The first medicine, and I've talked about this on my blog, the very first medicine I always think of when someone has gone through or is exposed to what these folks are going through in California is aconitum. Aconitum. It's not necessarily for smoke inhalation, but it's for panic. It's for anxiety. It's for fear of what's coming next, fear of the future, shock, a sense of everything's fine 1 minute, and the next minute, life is completely changed forever in these people's lives. So aconitum nipalis, 200C, we use it for a few days. Sometimes it only takes a dose or two, and it brings the person down so they can start thinking about what they need to do next. So it's more the emotional aspect of something as devastating as these fires. Second medicine, I'm going to go fast because we got a lot to get through. Second one is arsenicum album. I'm kind of doing them in alphabetical order, at least for a while here. Arsenicum album, also for anxiety and restlessness. But you're killing two birds with one stone, because not only is arsenicum album a great medicine for being poisoned and smoke inhalation, but also this emotional aspect. So, fearful also of what's coming next. It's not quite as shocky, but the person is restless and frantic and doesn't know what to do. The eyes can know and nose can burn. Arsenicum album often is accompanied by burning. The throat can burn, the nose, the eyes, the chest can burn. There can be a cough that's dry, and it's often worse at night. Even though they're exposed to the smoke during the day, at night is when things get much worse. Now, let me also tell you that when you're considering these medicines, I'm giving you a snapshot because there are a lot to go through here. I'm giving you a snapshot in time. So I expect before you use these medicines that you go to your Materia Medica, either my Materia Medica or the free Materia Medicas that are online. You don't download them. You don't get them in hand from as a free form, but as a PDF, they're online, and you can find Dr. Boricke, Boericke, or Dr. Fatak, Phatak. But if you own Materia Medicas, and I urge you to do so, you should go through them. And you should check to make sure and differentiate between these medicines. You can use more than one medicine at a time, one homeopathic medicine at a time. And you can use them throughout the day. I'm going to give you the potencies, and I'll give you somewhat of the frequency. Arsenicum album can be used in a 30. I almost always use aconitum in a 200C. If you only have a 200X, of course you're going to use that. If you don't have a 200 and all you've got is a 30, you use what you've got until you can get what you need. All right, so let's go back to the next remedy. And the next remedy is euphrasia. Euphrasia is one of our ubiquitous eye medicines, but it's also great for the nose. The eyes are full of lacrimation, tears running out of the corners, and it's burning and painful around the eyes, can be swollen and raw, and the lids can get red. And with that swelling, and the nose also runs, but there's no burning at the nose. The burning is at the eyes. Lots of streaming from both the eyes and the nose. It's like it's just running, and it's clear. Generally, it's clear. And then if there's coughing, that could be as a result of the throat being affected by the smoke, or the lungs. With the coughing comes the streaming of the eyes running, the nose running with all of the coughing. That's euphrasia, Euphrasia. Euphrasia. I like that remedy in a 30th potency. See how fast we have to go here? I didn't even say hello to all my friends here on Joette's Mighty Members or Facebook Live or wherever you're coming from. I appreciate your being here, and I thank you for spending your evening with me. But I want to get through these. These are really important. There are other medicines, but I want to go through the most important ones. The next medicine that I want to cover is Kali, Kali, bicromium, Bichromium, Kali bicromium, or Kali Bic, sometimes it's called. I like this in a 30th potency. What if you only have a 6? You use it. What if you only have a 200? You use it. But Kali bicromium is readily available in a 30th potency. Now, Kali bicromium has a very specific way of presenting. It's the pain. There's pain in the sinuses above one eye or above the other eye or between the nose. Between the eyes, above at the root of the nose, or it's both eyes and the nose, and clear across in these sinuses. It's worse when the person bends down to pick something up. Oh, there's pain. But Kali bicromium is also when there's a great deal of smoke exposure. So when it's a little more serious and the person got overly exposed, for those people who didn't leave Los Angeles in time, or they tried to leave Los Angeles, they couldn't because of the traffic, etc., or they really fought hard, or the firefighters, even though they've got masks, they can still have pretty serious smoke exposure, and by all means, Kali bicromium can be very useful. Irritation of the sinuses and or the lungs. So it's for pretty intense irritation of the lungs and the sinuses. The nose can be blocked. There can be a discharge that's dry. I don't want to give you too much information on this medicine, other than this is really often for the more serious occasion of being exposed to smoke inhalation, but there's a painful cough, etc. Read up on these medicines, my friends. Don't just choose one and say, okay, it must be that. Go through the ones that I'm telling you and differentiate. You decide what it makes the most sense. All right, there's a lot of rawness. The sinus is a lot of irritation when we need bichromum. Next medicine, natrum arsenicum. Now we're getting a natrum and we're getting an arsenicum, and they're mixed together of sorts. There is such sensitivity to the smoke. Everyone else is able to withstand a certain amount of smoke, but this person, they're so sensitive to it. There's so much distress just with the tiniest bit of smoke. And then perhaps it wasn't like that at this time, but now they've left Los Angeles, they're living in another area, they're in somewhat clean area, and all they have to do is get a whiff of smoke, and oh my gosh, it's so over the top in the sensations that they experience, even with the tiniest bit. And this is a great remedy. Natrum arsenicum is a great medicine for when the person has tried the other medicines, and yet they're just not helping enough. Then we consider natrum arsenicum. It's not as common a medicine as the ones that I've mentioned already. Worth going online. Go to Boron, Boiron. Look, I don't get any kickbacks. You need to know that. I don't have arrangements with Boron. All I arrange for them is that if you go to Boron, Boiron, order the medicine, and when you go to check out, you put in the little box, a little code box, my first name, Joette, and you get the discount. I do not have an affiliate program with them. My whole idea is for you to get the discount. I want you to get going with these medicines. Natrum arsenicum. The feeling of the lungs are full, feels as though the lungs are full of smoke. They may not be, but that certainly is the sensation. And the cough, excuse me, the cough can be really stressful for this person. It can be a racking cough, almost a scary kind of cough. And the smoke can cause a headache. Look, in many of these, as I said, bichromum, there's pain, there's sinus pain. That's a headache of sorts. But with this one, natrum arsenicum, there is that sinus pain, or excuse me, a headache, which can be anywhere in the head. It can be deep in the eustachian tubes. It can be the back of the head. It can be behind the eyes. It can be in the forehead. Excuse me. And let's see if I've got everything. There's a blocked sense. So there's probably a swelling inside in the mucosal areas of the head and sinuses going down into the trachea and into the lungs. Next medicine. Let me take a sip of water. This medicine is for not just smoke. This medicine is for chemicals. These folks are being exposed to. It's not a bonfire, right? Buildings are burning. Plastics are burning. Building materials that were never intended to burn are burning. Cars with upholstery. I mean, it's unbelievable. So this remedy is specific for exposure to chemicals, especially when we know that it has to do with the liver, and the liver has to process this, and that is nux vomica. Nux, second word, vomica, vomica, nux vomica. My friends, this is a very good medicine for, especially if the person is quite angry, very irritable. They perhaps, even before this happened, they were already sensitive to chemicals, to certain foods, to smells in general, and now it's really over the top because these smells are so intense in their lives. Next medicine. I don't normally go like this, but I think this is important, not just for our California neighbors, but for all of us. We all need to know about these medicines. You need to own them. Nux vomica, I would use it in a 30 or 200C. You need to own them. You need to own the knowledge and you need to own the medicines. And I use them mostly in 30s and 200s, but the next couple of medicines we're going to use in a 6X or 6C. The next one is silica, or sometimes people pronounce it silicia. Silica, which is made, of course, from sand, or the glass, and the silica that's in sand. I really love this medicine because it helps. As you know about silica, it pushes out, it sends out particulates from mucous membranes, from the skin. So if the person has been inhaling particulates, and of course that's what's going to happen in this smoke to a certain degree, right? You want to push those out. You want them out of the mucous membranes, which of course are very sensitive part of the body. And silica, I love it in a 6X, so particulates, to excrete them. This is a cell salt. Doesn't matter whether it's a cell salt or not, but if you're asking, some people say, is that a cell salt? Yes, indeed, it is. And it will help the body naturally eject that. Now, I wouldn't expect that you're only going to use silica. I would expect that you might use 2 or 3 of these medicines simultaneously that I've already told you about. So I want you to think about that. The person may have terrible sinus pain above their eyes and behind their eyes, and they're thinking, it's got to be chemibicromium. But they also know that they've been inhaling particulates. Then we also use silica. Not at the same moment. You maybe alternate them. Every few minutes you take one, then the next, then the next, then the next. You can use them, I would not say simultaneously at the same moment, but within the same schedule. So every few minutes you can take a different medicine. Not all of them. Don't choose all of them, my friends. Choose that fits the best. Really be judicious about your choices, because it can really make a difference. So I also like, let me look at my notes here. Kali Mur, Kali Mur, M-U-R. The full word is Kalium muriaticum, but Kali, Kali Mur, 6X, that can be taken also alongside silica. In a 6. Kali Mur. Kali sulf, also a cell salt, 6X. I like those mixed together or taken a few minutes apart from each other. Cell salts, I believe, can be mixed together. But you can also alternate them. And if you alternate them every few minutes, you might get a feel for which one is doing the best work. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes when you take a medicine, within a few minutes, sometimes you can actually see a difference. There's something that happens. You feel calmer, or it expels, or the pain is not as severe, or the mucus is flowing and clearing. And you can kind of get a feel for what medicine did what work. So my idea is to use silica 6, Kali Mur 6, Kali sulf 6, and maybe even chemibicromium in a 6 or 30. I think that's a good combination because cell salts are replenishing of sorts. They are homeopathic medicines, but they have kind of a dual purpose. They kind of replenish as well. So it is something that is a method that you might find in a combination, those mixed together. So this is what, if we pull this all together, the person is in a panic. Oh my God, what's next? This is horrible. Life was fine up until this date. Aconitum 200C, maybe twice a day for a few days till you get a feel for whether or not that's going to act. Then go to that combination I just gave you. Silica, Kali Mur, Kali sulf, all in 6s, and chemibicromium in a 6 or 30. Yes, that could be a plan. Now, I'm not saying that that's what one should use because some of these other might work better. You know, as I said, Natrum arsenicum might be a much better one when there's such great sensitivity. They're not even in the fire, as I said earlier. They're not ever anywhere near the smoke. They're far, far away. They've gone and moved back home to Arkansas with their family to get away from the hell of Los Angeles right now. And there is no smoke, but all they have to do now, after having been exposed perhaps, they walk down the street and someone has got a fireplace burning and they can smell it one sniff and they go, oh my gosh, this is horrible, because now they've been oversensitized, and that would be the natrum arsenicum. So let's see what time we have here. It's 8:20. I'm going to go to my Joette's Mighty members in about a minute or so. I'm afraid I cannot read your question. I'm very sorry. It's just the setup that we have. It's very, very tiny, and if I try to enlarge it, I may lose you altogether. It's what we do when we're traveling. Yeah, so I'm going to Joette's Mighty members. Let's see if there's anything else. I think, I would love to be able to, yes. Which potency for Natrum arsenicum? 30. You can use 30. And what does the Kelly Muir do? The way you do this, the way you find out what do these medicines do, go to a Materia Medica, read up on it, and it tells you what these medicines have been known to do. So when we ask what does it do, if I have to give you a generalized answer, it rights the wrongs. I'm not going to tell you that these medicines are going to cure. I'm telling you that these are medicines that have the potential to cure, but more often, especially if the person is still living in a somewhat smoky area, or they've been quite exposed, we're going to calm it down. We're going to help dislodge some of the suffering so that the suffering is not as great. What used to be a screaming 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 is now a 5. Keep taking the medicines. Keep taking, okay, now after a few days, instead of it being a 5, now the suffering is maybe a 4. And instead of the coughing or the headache or whatever, the anxiety, whatever it is we're experiencing, instead of it being there every day, now it's every 4th or 5th day. Instead of it lasting, that anxiety, that panic, the coughing, the pain, whatever it is the symptoms are, instead of it lasting all day, now it comes on, it lasts maybe an hour. 3 magic markers, my friends. The intensity has been dropped. That's how we know the medicine is correct. It's lasting for a shorter period of time. And there's a larger space between each time that it occurs. That's what we're looking for. And as we see improvement, we back off a little bit. If by backing off the improvement is now going in the opposite direction, we take it up again. So these are not medicines we take forever. We take them until we see a good enough improvement and we can be confident to move away from them. Okay. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here, my friends. I know you could be so many other places, yet here you are with me, and I appreciate your commitment to homeopathy. And so with that, I'm going to say good night to my Facebook and social media friends, and I'm going to go to just Joette's Mighty members. So Perry's asked me to give him 5 seconds.